Alright, so I wasn't able to locate my other fuel rail that has the proper injectors in it. I've got two more fuel rails from a previous LFX, but they're the wrong injectors, so I just need to keep a lookout for those. But I haven't found them yet, so at this time we're gonna worry about that at the moment. I need to take this hood off and get these fucking clips out. That screwdriver is way too large. So I've got these clips that will release here. And then once we get the hood off, we'll have plenty of room for our lift. Okay, so that's released. Need to release the other side. Then the hood bolts are 13 millimeter, and this is the time I typically use my power tools on things that aren't detrimental. So I'm going to do now, I've already got some blankets on the top of the car where I'm actually going to set the hood at once it's released off the bolts, the hinges. But I almost forgot, almost made a mistake here in not putting a towel or blanket to protect the paint and glass, because a lot of times when you lift up on that hood, it can be a little imbalanced and can easily let it hit your paint or your glass. So that should suffice for there. So the hood is no longer attached to the hinges. That can come off. Then I'll take off the absorbers, the shocks, or what do you call them? They call them shock absorbers, but rather lift arms or something like that. I think I might put this one upside down. This hood is extremely lightweight. So the reason I chose to go upside down for this moment anyway is because these bolts in the hood could cause some damage possibly. Alright. Remove this side. Well, I'll just put them back like that for now. They really probably weren't in the way. Maybe a little bit from working on the side, but doing okay with them on there too. Alright, so The next thing I want to look at is I want to go ahead and lift the car up some in the frame, and I need to install the transmission plug from the harness. And this is what I forgot last time I was underneath the tunnel area, is that this wire harness has 2 bolts. I already put the nuts on and everything. They're kind of hard to get to, but I'm going to put this back on there the way it was, because you don't want this loose with all the wind that catches underneath your car, and you don't want to complicate any problems with your transmission wiring for certain. So I will go ahead, lift it up, and let the transmission down a little bit so I can get in that tunnel fairly easily. On the top portion of the tunnel, between the body and the transmission. I think that's my next goal. Emergency brake is already set. So I may notice the video log. Might take me a second to get this set up where I want it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause it here and come right back. No purpose on wasting time on that specifically. Actually, you know what? I'll just keep this in fast forward mode. So I need to drop the transmission a little bit, but in order to do that, I'll need to put the transmission jack underneath it, or a regular jack, I mean, with the board. I think I'm going to use the transmission jack today. The ratchet strap that is holding up the transmission. Let me go ahead and set this camera up again. All right, that's on the jack. Here's my strap. Release this. All the way. So now I'll just use the jack from here on out anyway. I'll no longer use the strap. Even when I'm moving it up and down, when I'm ready to mount the engine, I'll just use this jack underneath there. So I'm going to come down here and lower the jack enough where I can reach my hands up there, through there. Alright, so what I've got to do in order to get this transmission lowered in the tunnel is I've actually got to remove this back bracket. So I've lifted the transmission up on the transmission jack, and now I need to remove this bracket right here, which it looks like it's more with a differential, the transfer case is at. So I need to lower the if I can think, the transfer case. I need to lower it down. 17s or 19 maybe, 15. What are these things? 15s. Okay. So I'll break these free. And I'll use the Milwaukee to go the rest of the way down with them. It's, I wonder if I should put another jack underneath here. I mean, it feels like it's being held up good enough. But it's really hard to tell. Okay. Looks like we're doing okay. So this would allow it to lower at least another. Okay, that one bolt is out. I've got one bolt in here. I wonder if I should go ahead and take that out or just go ahead and lower the jack and see if it's enough room. But I think what I would do, I'm going to put a jack stand underneath there, and if it dropped, it only dropped an inch or two versus possibly damaging one of the joints or something of that nature. If it doesn't have a way to support it, and that imbalance of weight came all the way down to the ground. Let's see if this jack will support anything back here. Yeah, it will. So there is a tab I can get this. Let me see if I can jack this transmission up anymore. And well, that wouldn't help. So what other? Okay, so if this comes down anymore, it will be supported by the case on the corner of the jack, at very least something to catch it. Alright. Okay. So the brace is no longer holding on. The transmission jack is holding up everything back to this joint up here with the drive shaft. Makes a transfer case. Alright, so now we're going to go up front. I'm going to lower this jack a considerable amount right now. That's where I was going to let this lip of the case just rest on this jack stand if necessary. Okay, let's stop there. And we'll go look at our tunnel from the engine bay. See if I can get my hands underneath there now. Surely it's going to be much better. Yeah. That's a night and day difference there. We'll see that. See if we can. Oh, yes. All right, so some good news. I was highly concerned I was going to have to put that bracket, the wire hardness bracket, onto those bolts by unbolting them, because when I went to the tunnel and tried to put it on from this side, on the back side of those bolts, it wasn't fitting. So I thought, well, you know, I've come this far. I don't want to tear that up in the future, so I'll go ahead and unbolt the top two transmission to transfer case bolts. And when I came back there, I'll show you what I noticed when I was looking at taking those bolts off, was that they were actually had studs on the bolt itself. Let's see if I can get up there. This camera. Okay. So I'll point it more out when I edit this. There's a bolt up there that actually has a stud on it on the back side, and that's where that harness mount goes over. All right, and then next on the list, we'll head on this side anyway. We have got we've got the wiring harness that plugs into the back of the transmission. So that is what I need to do next. And then the other part of that wiring harness, looks like there's two sensor wires coming off the back side of that. They are going to plug into the back of the transfer case itself. So I'll go ahead and get those three items plugged in. The transmission plug, it locks in, so it has like a quarter turn, half turn, and then it will lock in place.